Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, October 19th. It is now 10:48 a.m. And the agenda for today's meeting has been issued since last week. And going down the agenda, I see we have a quorum to conduct this meeting, and this meeting is hereby called to order. At this time, we will move along to the agenda. If there are any public comments to be made, I'd like to ask whoever will be making public comments, so please come up to the podium, state your name, and you have about 5 minutes to make public comments at this time. I see there are none who want to make any public comments, so we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the witness testimony. And I want to inform the public that Ms. Frances de la Cruz was served her subpoena on October 8th of 2021. However, she is not present in the chamber today, nor is her counsel. And I will now make a statement as to that and what this committee will be taking action on, if any, today. Over the past several days, Mr. Ross Garber of the Garber Group, LLC, law firm retained by Governor Ralph Torres, and Ms. Viola Lapuzzo, the counsel for Ms. Frances de la Cruz, have been communicating back and forth with your JGO committee regarding a subpoena that was served upon Frances de la Cruz on October 8th. It is now October 19th, the 11th day since the subpoena has been served. Mr. Garber and Ms. Alapuzzo have objected to the subpoena issued by this body and have made claims of absolute immunity, testimonial immunity for Ms. De La Cruz because she is an executive assistant to Governor Torres, a position I held for 16 years when I was working at the office of the governor, a position that I know well, and that position does not entail much more than that than is administrative in nature. There are certainly no threats to national security or trade secrets that may be exposed to a person who engages in that position. Trust me. Mr. Garber further questions that this investigation into Governor Torres does not serve a legitimate legislative purpose. Instead, what Mr. Garber has proposed is that we submit our questions ahead of time to Ms. De La Cruz and that she will reply to those questions within 7 days. We, as a committee have discerned this proposal, and it is the decision of this committee to permit Ms. De La Cruz to submit an affidavit as to her duties related to the subpoena that was served upon her. This accommodation is in no way to be interpreted as giving up our legislative right to compel the physical presence of Ms. De La Cruz to provide live testimony before this body, nor is it conceding to whatever immunity or privileges she may or may not have with respect to Mr. Garber's objection and Ms. Viola Alapuzzo's objections. We are not unreasonable. We are not uncompromising. This is democracy in action. And with that, I would like to inform the viewing members of our public and the members of this committee that I have called for a meeting on Tuesday, October 26, 2021 at 10 a.m. And we are expecting Ms. De La Cruz to submit her affidavit no later than 10 a.m. on that day. That is the collective decision of this committee. And at this time, I would like to recognize Representative Donald Menglonia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With that, members and Chair, Madam Chair, at this time, if there are no objections with the members, I propose that we call in Officers Janica Atlick and Flora Ogden to bring in to testify in front of this committee at the earliest.
Thank you. There are no objections from the members, and that recommendation will be taken into advisement. As you members may know and remember, we have approved the subpoenas for Ms. Janica Atalik and Ms. Flora Uggan, so we will now execute those subpoenas to appear before this committee. Is there anybody else who would like to make a statement? I recognize Representative Tina Sablon.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to reiterate a couple of points that you made in your opening statement, so that we are absolutely clear that we are allowing this particular witness, Ms. Frances Dela Cruz, to submit a signed and sworn written affidavit under penalty of perjury that would attest to her duties, responsibilities, knowledge, and experience as to the subject matters that are listed in the subpoena that she received, including travel for the governor and first lady, reimbursement requests by the governor, utilities of the governor, among others. And I think that we should be very, very clear that we are not conceding that the immunities and privileges that the governor is invoking actually apply to his assistant or any future witnesses that we subpoena to testify before this body. We are not submitting our questions ahead of time, though we have informed and invited the witness, or we will. If she wants to submit questions that she wants to be asked of this body, she may also address those questions in her signed and sworn affidavit. That is allowed by law as well. We are not waiving any rights or powers that we have to compel the appearance and testimony of this witness or any witness. And in fact, we fully expect that we will still have questions that will require Ms. Dela Cruz's appearance before this body. We expect Ms. Dela Cruz and all future witnesses to comply with our subpoenas, appear in this chamber, and testify truthfully to the best of their knowledge, cooperating fully with this legislative investigation. I think that should be absolutely clear for the record. And if this is an appropriate time, Madam Chair, I'd like to offer a motion to approve an additional subpoena for one more witness.
That is correct, Rep. Sablon. We are definitely not giving up our rights and or any privileges or options we may have under the law. We are simply allowing and permitting Ms. De La Cruz to submit an affidavit. She has received her subpoena as to her duties, her responsibilities, and her knowledge of the travel policies and procedures, reimbursement policies and procedures of the Office of the Governor, as well as other items listed on the subpoena, that we are in no way, you know, we will exercise our rights and privileges as a legislative body for this and any other future witnesses that are called before this committee. And at this time, there's a motion to entertain on the floor. Rep. Tina has made a motion.
Oh, I'd like to offer.
Okay,
Is this okay?
there are no
objections.
objections.
Okay. In addition to the subpoenas that have been approved thus far, I'd like to offer a motion to issue a subpoena to Mr. Will Castro.
A motion has been made by Representative Tina Sablon to issue one additional subpoena to Mr. William Castro, the Chief of Staff of the Governor. And the motion has been seconded. Are there any discussions on this motion? All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The motion carries to issue a subpoena for Mr. William Castro, Chief of Staff to the Governor.
If I may have the floor still.
Recognized.
Thank you. And so we have a number of subpoenas that have already been approved by this committee, and I'd like to recommend at this time, Madam Chair, that we go ahead and issue the remaining subpoenas and begin scheduling out the appearances for those witnesses to come into this chamber to testify. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Tina. Just to reiterate the previous subpoenas that have been approved by this committee, they are for, in addition to Ms. Janika Atalig and Ms. Flora Uggan, the additional subpoenas that have been approved are for Police Officer Joey Cruz, the DPS Commissioner Robert Guerrero, former Secretary Larissa Larson, current Secretary of Finance David Atalig, Ms. Diane Tadella Torres, and the governor himself, Governor Ralph de Leon Guerrero Torres. And we will now begin to schedule those out as was previously discussed in the meeting. Are there any further discussions for today? Recognize Representative Ed Probst.
And just for clarity and clarification, once we do receive the sworn written affidavit, that will, after that, we still may be likely to call her in to appear and answer questions. Is that correct, Madam Chair?
That is correct. Even though Ms. De La Cruz will submit her affidavit relating to her duties and responsibilities at the office of the governor, I am certain that there will be follow-up questions and perhaps clarifying questions. And so at that time, her physical presence will be required before this body in this chamber.
So clarified, and thank you, Madam Chair and colleagues.
Thank you. Anything further? I recognize Representative Vicente Camacho.
Yeah, good morning, colleagues and the viewing public. I'm just amazed at how far this governor will go to protect his interests and disregard the interests of the people that he has sworn under oath to uphold. To negotiate a legislative investigation to protect a government employee is telling of the magnitude of this investigation. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Camacho. Anybody else? If not, that concludes the meeting for today. Can I please get a motion to adjourn this meeting? This meeting is hereby adjourned until Tuesday, October 29th. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. This meeting is hereby adjourned.